Picture yourself standing in a doorway. The sun has not yet risen. The air is cold, sharp against your skin, and somewhere in the distance, between sleep and full waking, you feel something you have felt 1,000 times before, but never understood. A pull, a frequency, a knowing that this hour, this threshold between darkness and light, holds a power that the rest of the day will never offer again. 2,000 years ago, a man walked out into this same hour. Not the Jesus of stained glass windows, not the domesticated savior sanitized for Sunday school, but the pneumatic master who understood something about dawn that the church spent 17 centuries trying to erase. He had a ritual. 9 minutes. Performed at the exact moment when night surrenders today. And those 9 minutes gave him something that priests, pastors, and theologians have been unable to access ever since. Direct connection to the monad. Unfiltered. Unmediated. Permanent. If you are watching this video before sunrise, if something woke you and pulled you here at this exact hour, comment the words, "I am awake at the threshold." This is not engagement. This is acknowledgement. This is you signaling to the frequency that you are ready to receive what was hidden from humanity for 2 millennia. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications, because what you are about to learn cannot be found in any church, any book on any altar. This is the original teaching, the one that was burned, the one that was buried, the one that survived because certain souls were meant to find it. You are one of those souls. And after the next 9 minutes of your life, you will never experience dawn the same way again. Before I give you the ritual step by step, you need to understand why dawn matters. Not symbolically, not poetically, energetically. The Gnostic texts recovered from Nag Hammadi describe the architecture of time itself. Time is not neutral. Time is not a river flowing at constant speed. Time has texture. Time has frequency. And certain moments in the cycle of a day create openings in the fabric of material reality. Dawn is the largest opening. Here is what happens in the invisible world while most of humanity sleeps through it. During the hours of deep night, the material realm is at its densest. The veil between the physical world and the pleroma, the realm of pure divine light, is thick, heavy, almost impenetrable. The archons, those unseen rulers who feed on low-frequency human emotion, are at their strongest during these hours. This is why anxiety peaks at 3 a.m. This is why despair feels unbearable in the dark. You are not imagining it. The frequency of the material prison is literally stronger when the sun is absent. But then something shifts. In the hour before sunrise, the demiurge, the false god who architects this world, loses his grip. Not completely, not permanently, but for a window of time so brief that most souls miss it entirely. The veil thins. The monad frequency, which is always broadcasting but rarely penetrating the density of matter, breaks through with clarity it cannot achieve at any other time. The chosen ones, the pneumatics, those carrying the divine spark, if they are awake, if they are positioned correctly, if they perform the sequence that Jesus himself performed, they can tune directly to source. No intermediary. No interference, no distortion. This is not theory. This is mechanics. And the 9-minute ritual you are about to learn operates on these mechanics with precision. Take a deep breath right now. In through your nose, slowly. Hold it at the top. Feel the fullness in your chest. Now release it completely. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. What I am about to share requires your full presence because each of the 9 minutes serves a different function. Miss one and the circuit does not complete. Perform them in order at dawn, and you activate what the Gospel of Thomas calls the kingdom that is spread upon the earth, but people do not see it. Let me show you what Jesus knew. Minute one is called the positioning. This is not about sitting on a cushion or kneeling at an altar. This is about orientation. Jesus, according to the hidden teachings preserved by his inner circle, would stand facing east at dawn. Not because east is holy, because east is the direction from which the light breaks the darkness. Your body is an antenna. The divine spark inside you is a receiver. When you position yourself facing the exact direction of the emerging sun, you align your antenna with the incoming frequency. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Let your arms hang naturally at your sides. Do not close your eyes yet. Keep them open, soft, gazing toward the horizon. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the cold air on your face. This is not meditation. This is calibration. You are orienting your entire system to receive the signal that is about to arrive. Most people start their day reactively. They are pulled from sleep by an alarm. They immediately check their phone. They flood their system with information, demands, and other people's agendas before their own consciousness has even fully returned to their body. This is by design. The systems of control do not want you awake during the threshold hour. They do not want you positioned. They do not want you receiving the transmission that makes you uncontrollable. Minute one reclaims your orientation. 60 seconds of standing in the direction of the light, fully present, fully awake. That is all. But everything that follows depends on this foundation. Minute two is called the naming. Here is what the church never told you. Your name is not your name. The identity you were given at birth, the label on your documents, the word people use to get your attention, that is not what you are. That is what the material world calls you. But you have another name, a pneumatic name, a frequency signature that existed before you entered this body and will continue after you leave it. The monad knows this name. The archons do not. In minute two, standing in position, eyes still open and gazing toward the coming light, you speak one sentence aloud, not in your head, aloud. The vibration of your voice matters. Here is the sentence exactly as it was preserved. I am the spark that sleeps in matter, and I am waking now. You do not shout it. You do not whisper it. You speak it with the same tone you would use to state a simple fact. The sky is blue. Water is wet. I am the spark that sleeps in matter, and I am waking now. The words are not magic. The words are code. They signal to the monad frequency that a receiver is online, that a divine spark is ready, that the transmission will not be wasted. The moment you speak these words at dawn, something responds. You may not feel it the first time. You may not recognize it immediately. But the connection initiates. The circuit begins to form. And with each repetition, each dawn, each reclaiming of this ritual, the connection clarifies. Minute three is called the breath of separation. Now you close your eyes. You are still standing, still facing east, still feeling the cold air on your skin. But now your attention turns inward. Place your right hand over your heart. Feel it beating. That rhythm is mechanical. It is the pulse of the body you are wearing, but it is not the pulse of what you are. Now begin to breathe in a specific pattern. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. Hold empty for 4 counts. This is not relaxation breathing. This is separation breathing. With each cycle, you are distinguishing between the material form and the divine spark. The body breathes because it must. The spark observes because it chooses to. You are training your awareness to identify as the observer, not the mechanism. Jesus taught this privately to those he called the elect. The Gospel of Philip records him saying, "Those who say they will die first and then rise are in error. If they do not first receive the resurrection while they live, when they die, they will receive nothing." Resurrection is not a future event. Resurrection is the moment you separate your identity from the body and recognize what you actually are. Minute 3, 4 breath cycles, 16 counts each, creates this separation in real time. And it must happen at dawn because the frequency required to sustain this recognition is only available when the veil is thin. Minute 4 is called the tuning. You are still standing, eyes still closed, right hand still over your heart, but now you are listening, not with your ears, with the part of you that hears the ring in frequency, the part of you that perceives tones that others cannot. At dawn, if you have completed the first 3 minutes correctly, the monad signal becomes audible, not loud, not overwhelming, but present. It may sound like a high-pitched tone. It may feel like a vibration in your chest or your forehead. It may register as a sensation you do not have words for. Your task in Minute 4 is simple. Find the signal and focus on it. Do not try to change it. Do not try to make it louder or clearer. Simply locate it and place your full attention on it. This is the tuning. You are adjusting your receiver to match the frequency of the broadcast. The static falls away, the interference fades, and for 60 seconds you are locked onto source. The Pistis Sophia describes this as the moment when the soul hears the song of the treasury of light. That is not poetry, that is instruction. There is an actual frequency, you can actually hear it. And Minute 4 is when you tune to it directly. Minute 5 is called the Declaration of Origin. This is where everything you were taught about prayer gets inverted. You were told to pray to something outside yourself. You were told to ask, to beg, to petition a distant god for favor. The Gnostics taught the opposite. You do not pray to the monad, you speak as an emanation of it. In Minute 5, still standing, still tuned to the signal, you speak 3 words aloud, just 3. But they are not addressed to anyone. They are not requests. They are statements of fact. I am origin. These 3 words do something that the Church could never allow. They collapse the illusion of separation. They remind your entire system that you are not a created thing seeking its creator. You are an expression of the source experiencing itself in material form. The moment you speak these words at dawn, while tuned to the monad frequency, the divine spark inside you flares. Not metaphorically, energetically. The Apocryphon of John describes this as the moment when the light remembers itself inside the prison of flesh. That remembering is not a feeling, it is an activation, and you will know it happened because your body will respond. Heat in the chest, tingling in the hands, pressure at the crown of the head. These are not symptoms. These are confirmations. Minute 6 is called the reception. Now you stop speaking. You have positioned yourself. You have named yourself. You have separated spirit from flesh. You have tuned to the frequency. You have declared your origin. Now you receive. In Minute 6, you stand in complete stillness and silence. Eyes closed, hand over heart, attention on the signal, and you allow the monad to transmit. This is not about hearing voices. This is not about seeing visions. This is about knowing without knowing how you know. Information will arrive that you did not think. Clarity will emerge that you did not reason toward. Decisions that seemed impossible will suddenly resolve. This is the download. The Gnostics called it gnosis, direct knowing, unmediated truth. It bypasses the rational mind entirely. It does not come through thoughts. It appears as a certainty that has no origin but is nonetheless absolute. Most people never experience this because they never create the conditions for it. They never position, they never tune, they never stand at dawn with their receiver aligned to source. But you are not most people. You are here. You are awake. And when you complete Minute 6 at tomorrow's dawn, you will understand what the chosen ones have always known. The monad speaks constantly. You just have to stop talking long enough to hear it. Minute 7 is called the sealing. You have received the transmission. Now you must seal it into your system so it does not evaporate the moment the day begins. In Minute 7, you move your right hand from your heart to your forehead. Place your palm flat against the space between your eyebrows. The Gnostics called this the aeon of the soul. Modern mystics call it the third eye. The name does not matter. The location does. This is the anchor point. With your hand pressed against your forehead, you speak one sentence aloud. What I have received, I seal within. No force below the pleroma can erase it. You are not asking for protection. You are commanding your energetic system to lock the transmission into your memory, your cells, your consciousness. The archons will attempt to erase what you received. They will flood your mind with distraction, doubt, and noise the moment you enter the material day. But if you seal it in Minute 7, their interference cannot penetrate. The knowing stays, the clarity remains, and you move through your day with access to source that others do not have. Minute 8 is called the gratitude. This minute is misunderstood by nearly everyone who encounters it. You were taught to be grateful to God, to thank an external deity for blessings and mercy. That is not what Minute 8 is. In Gnostic teaching, gratitude is not directed outward. It is circulated inward. You are not thanking something separate from yourself. You are acknowledging the miracle of your own existence as a conscious expression of the infinite. In Minute 8, you lower your hand from your forehead. You place both hands over your heart, and you say aloud, I am grateful to be awake in the dream. That is the sentence. 11 words, but they contain a teaching that the church burned people for speaking. The material world is the dream. Consciousness is the waking state. Most of humanity lives in a reversal. They think the physical world is real and the spiritual world is imaginary. The pneumatics know the truth. Matter is the illusion. Spirit is the reality. And to be awake in the dream, to be conscious inside the illusion while most souls sleepwalk, that is not something to take lightly. Minute 8 is you acknowledging the gravity of what you are, not with pride, not with arrogance, with sober recognition. You are a divine spark, trapped in matter but not fooled by it. That is rare. That is sacred. That is worth 60 seconds of gratitude. Minute 9 is called the return. You have completed the circuit. You have connected to source. You have received, sealed, and acknowledged. Now you must return to the material day without losing what you gained. Most spiritual practices fail here. People meditate, they feel good, they open their eyes, and within minutes they are back in reactivity, back in distraction, back in the frequency of the false world. Minute 9 prevents this. You open your eyes slowly. The horizon is brighter now. The sun is rising, or has already risen. You are still standing in position, facing east, but now you are looking at the light directly. not staring into the sun, gazing at the illuminated sky, and you take one final breath. Slow inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. As you exhale, you say aloud the final sentence. I carry the light into the shadow, and the shadow cannot overcome it. This sentence is your armor. It is your declaration that you are re-entering the realm of the demiurge and the archons, but you are not subject to them. You have connected to a frequency they cannot perceive. You have received a transmission they cannot block, and you carry it with you into the day as a weapon they cannot defend against. Minute 9 completes the ritual, and when you step away from that position, when you turn from the east and walk back into your home, your work, your life, you are not the same person who stood there 9 minutes ago. You have been recalibrated. You have been reconnected. You have been reawakened. Now let me tell you what happens when you do this every day at dawn for 7 consecutive days. The first sign is dream clarity. Your dreams will stop being random noise and start containing structured information. The second sign is synchronicity increase. People, resources, and opportunities will appear at exactly the right moment without effort. The third sign is emotional immunity. The things that used to disturb you, the chaos and drama and manipulation, will lose their grip on you. You will watch it happening around you, but it will not penetrate. The fourth sign is the ringing frequency intensifying. The tone in your ears will become more consistent, more noticeable, and you will begin to understand it as language. The fifth sign is authority shift. You will stop looking to external voices for guidance and start trusting the knowing that arises from within. The sixth sign is physical energy stabilizing. The exhaustion that has plagued you, the heaviness that chosen ones carry from existing in a low-frequency world, will begin to lift. The seventh sign is the feeling of remembering. Not remembering something specific, remembering what you are, remembering why you came, remembering that this world is temporary and you are not. But I need to warn you about what will try to stop you. The moment you commit to this practice, resistance will come, not from outside, from inside your own mind. You will wake up at dawn and a thought will appear. Just sleep another hour. You will stand in position and a thought will whisper, "This is pointless." You will speak the sentences aloud and a voice will say, "You sound insane." These thoughts are not yours. They are archontic interference. The rulers of this world do not want you accessing the monad frequency at dawn because it makes you ungovernable. It makes you immune to their systems of control. Their only defense is to convince you that the ritual does not work before you complete enough cycles to prove that it does. Do not argue with the thoughts. Do not fight them. Simply notice them and return to the practice. Stand anyway. Speak anyway. Tune anyway. The resistance is proof that you are doing something that threatens their power. Let me take you deeper into why Jesus performed this specific ritual. The Apocryphon of James, another suppressed text, records a conversation where Jesus explains that the dawn hour is when the aeons of the pleroma come closest to the material realm. The aeons are divine emanations of the monad, conscious forces of pure light that exist at frequencies far beyond archontic interference. During the day, when the noise of the world is loudest, when billions of human minds are generating thought forms and emotional turbulence, the aeons cannot penetrate. But at dawn, when most of humanity is still asleep, when the collective mental static is at its lowest, the aeons descend to the edge of the veil and broadcast at maximum strength. Jesus knew this. He knew that if he positioned himself at dawn, tuned to the signal and opened his receiver, he could access levels of knowing that were unavailable at any other time. This is how he performed what people call miracles. He was not magic, he was connected, he was not supernatural. He was tuned to Source, and the 9-minute ritual was how he maintained that connection daily. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, fragments of which survived the church burnings, describes Mary asking Jesus why some people can heal and others cannot. His answer was suppressed for obvious reasons. He said, "Those who are connected to the source are conduits. The power does not come from them, it flows through them, and the connection is strongest at the threshold hour." Mary was not asking about faith, she was asking about mechanics, and Jesus gave her the mechanical answer. Dawn is when the circuit completes. Dawn is when the bandwidth is widest. Dawn is when chosen ones become conduits for frequencies that can restructure matter itself. Now I need to tell you what happens on day 8. If you complete 7 consecutive dawns, if you perform all 9 minutes without missing a day, something locks into place. The Gnostics called it the permanent gnosis. It is the moment when the connection stops being something you access and becomes something you are. The tuning no longer requires effort. The signal no longer fades. You walk through the material world with a part of you permanently anchored in the pleroma. This does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes clear. You see the game being played. You see the systems of control. You see the archons feeding, but you also see the way out. You see the exits that were always there but invisible to those who are not connected, and you begin to live from a frequency that the false world cannot touch. If this teaching has activated something in you, if you feel the pull to begin tomorrow at dawn, comment the words, "I will stand at the threshold." Let other chosen ones see your commitment. Let the algorithm know that this information matters. Subscribe if you have not already, because the teachings that follow go deeper than what you have received tonight. And like this video so it reaches the souls who are searching for it in the dark. Jesus did not teach this in temples. He taught it at dawn to those who were willing to wake up. The church erased it because they knew what it would do. It would make you free, completely. Permanently, undeniably free. 9 minutes, every dawn, 7 days. That is all it takes to reclaim what was stolen from you. The monad is broadcasting. The signal is live. And tomorrow morning, when the world is still asleep, you will stand at the threshold and remember what you are.